Okay, good
Good
evening.
evening.
So I will start. So development, national development.
Industry and innovation relies on effective infrastructure like safe roads, transportation, clean water, and electricity to function on a local and international level. We all have a role to play in helping the UN achieve its goal to create a world where everyone has access to improved infrastructure, industry, and innovation by the year 2030. Because when good infrastructure is in place, entrepreneurs can make existing products and services even better and nations prosper for the benefit of everyone. Infrastructure is all around us. It's the sidewalks we walk on, the reservoirs that supply running water, the data centers that link us up to the internet. When infrastructure is strong, people are able to connect and work together on new innovations, and this, in turn, creates more jobs and supports a thriving economy. Roads and bridges allow goods to be transported from producers to retailers. They enable people to get to work when roads are in good condition and adequately serviced. Economies run smoothly. When the tropical storm Nate hit the South American countries of Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Honduras in 2017, flash floods and landslides damaged countless roads and bridges, making it difficult for relief to make its way to where it was most needed. Lots of businesses were affected, meaning the economies of those countries suffered too. Communities with damaged infrastructure can remain without water and electricity for weeks or months after a natural disaster. But they can also bounce back, as was the case in the Chinese province of Sichuan, which was devastated by an earthquake in 2008, but hosted the Olympics just 3 years later, thanks to an investment in the region's infrastructure. In Kenya, improved internet connectivity is enabling citizens to exchange money person to person, making it possible for farmers to conduct direct transactions with retailers using mobile money apps like M-Pesa. In India, national, state, and local governments are committed to boosting rural development by collaborating on the Smart Village initiative. They're transforming underdeveloped villages into model villages by investing in sanitation, new roads, and sustainable energies. When we have access to good infrastructure, we can innovate, create, and drive industry forward so that everyone benefits together.
Goal number 10, that is reduce inequalities. Reduce inequality within and among country is the main target of the goal number.
So you have watched this video. Now we will discuss on the sustainable development goal.
Goal number 10, that is reduce inequalities. Reduce inequality within and among country is the main target of the goal number sustainable development goals 2030. The world is massive and massively unequal because uh, there are different types of inequalities there. For example, gender inequalities, poverty inequalities, racism inequalities, all the things. And peoples are all massively distributed in the world, and they are not all equal. Some are black, some are white. So all these things are unequal or unevenly disturbed. So peoples are massively unequal. So reduce this inequality. What happened? Different policies should be universally acceptable, or the principles of paying attention to the needed or disadvantages or marginalized populations. So, what are the disadvantages for the inequality? This type of ideas or this type of knowledge can be spread throughout the people. What are the disadvantages of inequality? So, this is the main thing to reduce this inequality is the target. So target for this code includes also financial market regulation to make a playing field like equal making migration more orderly, safe, and regular and responsible. For example, if you are want to visit America or Canada, so you need to apply for visa and apply for a passport visa, all this. So there is lots of processes there, and how this process can be regularized and minimized because all kind of their living condition, our living condition, their rule regulations, our rule regulations, they are very much different. So to manage these things smoothly, different rules and policies are there to in order to safeguard the proper migration and proper financial market regulation. For example, we are depending some countries for the important export for that thing. So that's why all peoples or countries should have equally right. They have making some policies regarding this. This is mainly deals with this inequality. And this is a long-term goal, a long-term social and economic development because inequality hampers the social and economic both development and increases the poverty and reduction and destroy all these things. Like it increases war, it increases conflict, it increases crime. So inequality is the major cause for the restriction for the development and also sustainable development. So we have to work to reduce this inequality in order to increase the sustainable development, or we have to reach the target of 2030. So the income of the poorest people, 40% population have been growing faster than the national rate. This is the one of this target. There's 40% population that having lower income. So there is inequality also the poor and rich. Poor, the rich people are that time serving the poor people in a very unhygienic way, or in a very rare way. So this is the different discriminate or inequality present everywhere. So we should reduce this inequality based on all types of things related to income, sex, age, disability, sexual orientation, racism, classes, identity, religion, and all opportunity to process these two things. So whatever may be the cause, we have to reduce this inequality or neglect this inequality so as to live happily and purposefully in the world. So inequality also threatens the social and economic development. As I already discussed. So this harm, poverty, destroy people good quality life and self-worth. If you are neglecting someone and inferior, feeling inferior to someone, so you are involved in very unsocial activity and it increases the crime rate, increases diseases and environmental degradation. All are related to this sustainable development. So we have to reduce this inequality. This is a major thing of or is this uh, interrelated to the all different goals of the sustainable development goals. So up to 2015 to 2022, somehow we are working on that. So we can greatly, not greatly, but we have to attempt to reduce this inequality in some extent, up to some extent. And whenever the migration of the country, some people we are giving shelter, provide shelter to as all are human. So these are the one steps towards this reduces inequalities. Six people's world is experience the discrimination from the women, disabilities, all these things are affected. If someone having a disabilities in something, so we are neglecting and discriminating this. So we should not be do that. So this inequality is very much play important role for the happily living the peacefully living the world people of the all countries. So discrimination is also interesting forms. There are also very much interesting forms like religion. Some religion, high religion, casteism. These also are some discriminations and inequalities. One, for example, government also nowadays promoting intercaste marriages or interreligion marriages, and this is all peoples are equal. So all rules and regulations, all these fundamental rights, all these constitutional rights, these are provided same whether the man is under Ramin or in a lower caste. All are same, all are equal. So in order to decrease the discrimination, just we have to reduce inequality. So how to tackle this discrimination? This is the major challenges that we are interested or that can be reduced, like poverty, climate change. So if there are no poverty, no gender equality, no having quality good education is provided to all other things. So this should then this inequality should be reduced. And this climate change mitigation, economic crisis, we also indirectly related to this because people who are very much lower caste or all this having low poverty, then obviously they do not getting higher knowledge how the sustainable development, how they can contribute to sustainable development, and they are suffering poor sanitation and disease. So how can we think if you are hungry, then your mind cannot work? So how do you think about the sustainable development? So it can be achieved by the helping of other all countries as well as all individuals. So this is very much necessary to meet the advantages of these qualities and the disadvantages of inequality. If everyone understands what is the disadvantage of inequality, then it will be understand or definitely reduces. So we can reduce this on inequality by transform or changing our mind. That is the most important. What we do think that is in our mind that reflect in our work or the reflect in our habit. So we have to think in a different way and in an educated way, or we should not discriminate in a social or economic types. So the people are having reduces the inequality and the within country, the important empower them. So where these people are going to migrate to other countries? So this is the main thing. So people are getting good job, good sanitation facility, good having good salary. So this obviously good knowledge, good quality life, quality education. So this can be very much helpful to reduce this thing, better inequality. So among countries, we are also ensure that different developing country and from developed country there should be also inequality. We are from developed country. She is from underdeveloped country. This also includes that. So all these things should be minimized or should be reduced by the common effort or by the combined effort of the all people and of the all nations. And the government and the stakeholder also promote to save these inequalities or promote to reduce the inequalities. That is also responsible for all media, social media to from news media, from the advertisement. We are spreading the news or spreading the knowledge about what are the disadvantages of inequality. So by this effort, we can reduce the inequality of 30. So to understand better, let's see a video on that.
We all deserve to live in a world where everyone is treated equally, regardless of our gender, age, and ethnicity, our religious beliefs, economic status, or where we live. Equality gives everyone access to a level playing field to live the life they dream of living. And we all have a role to play in helping the UN reduce inequalities by the year 2030. Inequality exists among individuals. The richest 1% of people on Earth own half the world's wealth. But what if that wealth was distributed among more people? It would make life better for the bottom 40% of the global population, who subsist on meager incomes and are often discriminated against because they're poor. Inequality also exists among nations. Developed countries like Germany, the largest economy in Europe, are considered to be more influential on the global stage because it has strong trade links with other powerful countries and is a member of powerful international organizations like NATO and Group 20. But what if developing economies like Cyprus had an equal say on issues like monetary policy? Wouldn't a more inclusive global governance benefit more people? Inequality has existed for centuries. Great nations were built on the backs of slaves. Men, women, and children bought in markets by powerful people who considered them commodities, not people. What are the lasting impacts of this kind of inequality? Inequality can be a gender issue, when women are paid less than their male co-workers, or a racial issue when ethnic minorities are unfairly targeted by police just because of the color of their skin. What other kinds of inequality have you witnessed? But progress is being made. Companies worldwide are committing to religious equality in the workplace by protecting the rights of Muslim employees to wear the hijab during work hours. In 2017, Ireland became the first country in the world to legalize same-sex marriage by way of a referendum, when 62% of the population voted to amend the constitution, giving same-sex couples equal status under the law as heterosexual couples everywhere in the country. And women in African and Arabic countries are calling for equality in political participation and leadership by holding events like the International Conference on Elected Women, because when everyone is treated equally, we all prosper together.
Goal number 11, that is make cities sustainable and communities. That is sustainable cities and communities. That is goal number 11. To make cities, the main motto of this goal number 11 is sustainable cities and human settlements, inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. That means the cities we are making and the communities of the people we are living, we should make it also sustainable. Not only we are thinking about equality, poverty, and all the things. To become a sustainable development or sustainable art, we should prepare all the things in a sustainable way. So the communities, the cities are also made in a sustainable thing or sustainable way. This is the main goal or main motto of this goal number 11, sustainable development goals. There should be need to be future in which city provides opportunity for all with access to basic services, energy, housing, transportation, and many more. That means all the peoples are living in a city or in a community, and this also having capacity to reliability to provide all basic necessary things or basic services, energy, water, transportation, all the things. Because nowadays also the cities administration, the municipal corporations, they are taking in charge of disposing from garbage to providing clean water and providing electricity. All are the rules, all are the work that is governed by this government and the municipal corporation. But now this is not in a sustainable way. So in future, what happens? We have to make the city and use everything and that can be services that are provided by these cities are making in a sustainable way. So more of the half the world lives in city, because rural area obviously the pollution is less as compared to city area, because in city less area or less space there is living more number of people, and there will be more number of people, obviously there is a more disturbance and more waste generation and more unhygiene condition. So making this city sustainable, we also create a sustainable goal for the meeting our future generation. So people also living, the major peoples are living in a city, so making this city sustainable, we are solving half of the problem. So targets of this goal is to include addressing issues like transportation, disaster preparedness, all the things, and prevention of all cultural and natural heritage. In city, we know no one can be know each other, because in the city the neighbors cannot know the another neighbors. This is not should be. So we have to know each other. We have to manage. We have to provide the services to all the residents of the cities in a sustainable way. So this is the main thing, because people, most of the peoples, majority of the peoples are living in city area. So this city areas is very much necessary thing to give awareness and provide some services, which is very much important thing to making the country sustainable. So city also represent the value of the living thing, because all necessary services are, people are migrating to industrialization and migrating to rural area to city area. So all facilities should be there in the city area. So near in 2022, around 70% of the people are services and all service or water and all this transportation facility, healthcare facility. So we should increase the facilities and services in the people who are living in the city. So the cities are not ready for this rapid urbanization. We are going to people are going to live in a city that are not fully developed or fully infrastructure. So this leads to a better, not a good or a better thing, because unhygienic conditions and the facility are due to the lack of the facilities, people are forced to live in a sophisticated condition. So urban cities are morely congested and polluted. So good progress has been made as 2015 to 2022, because nowadays the government and rules and policies make rule policies and making such developments in the city and providing the necessary services. And we are working on this toward the sustainable development and sustainable city. So most of this urban growth is also very small in cities and intermediate in towns, and extremely high in major cities, because nowadays people are moving towards cities and moving to industrialization. So is the major cities or urbanization, industrialization hampers the climate change? Yes, obviously, due to this industrialization, urbanization, and people are living in a small confined space, we are not bothering about this environment. So obviously, environment, climate change directly related to this urbanization or cities. So this will affect eventually the quality of life and the quality of water, the quality of energy, and these are the dependent on the services or facilities involved in the city. So we should make the city sustainable, and the community we are living, that is sustainable in a very vast way. The cost is also required, the finance is also required to making these things in a live way. So for this government and all non-NGOs, active NGOs and all the industrial persons, organizations that are helping in so much way to make a normal city to a sustainable city, to convert these cities. Sustainable city means it having proper all things, or the city means proper all facilities that are very much required for making a city sustainable. So how can we achieve this goal? Because take this goal, active interest in government management of the city is also very much necessary, because if proper management or can be convert this city in a sustainable city, but a poor management you cannot work on that. So this, for this vision, all people's or broad mindset, all preparation or making infrastructures or of a cities that are ensuring good jobs to the people of all communities, that also requires good children parks, all these things, good walking ways, all facilities that should be properly managed by the city administrations. So good progress has been made since 2015. Obviously, we are working on that, because now it is 5 or 7 years, 8 years past from 2015. So we are just progressing on this way. So sustainable development cannot be achieved without significant transferring the urban space in a very good way or sustainable way. So we are working on that. We are transforming the city in a sustainable city or sustainable urban area and the sustainable community. So to understand better what is sustainable city and how the goal number, sustainable goal 11 is coming to force, let's watch a small video.
Everyone deserves to live in a world where our cities and communities are designed to be inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. We all have a role to play in helping the UN achieve this goal by the year 2030. But the idea of a sustainable city isn't new. Ancient civilizations like the Greeks designed cities for the benefits of all citizens. They made it easy to travel by planning streets in straight lines. They kept everyone fed and watered by setting up markets and building aqueducts, and even pioneered public parks where citizens could relax in nature. Today, our definition of livability has evolved to reflect the needs of people living in a modern world. We want people to feel safe to travel through their communities, to have access to affordable housing, connect with their neighbours in shared spaces and at public events, because communities thrive when people develop a sense of ownership and belonging. It's easy to feel isolated from a community. It happens in big cities when buildings are not designed to give disabled people access. It happens in small towns when reduced public transport links make it impossible for the elderly to participate in society. But lots of good things are being done to help people feel connected to their communities. The Kilis refugee camp in Turkey, for example, is a temporary community that was designed to last. Managed by the Turkish government, residents live in concrete shelters rather than makeshift tents, giving them a sense of stability. In Scotland, Rex Afsal set up a community fridge where people could access food donated by local businesses. And in New York, a disused railway bed was transformed into the High Line, an eye-catching public space where citizens can mingle or relax. Ideas like this can help create a safer, more inclusive future for everyone.
Next sustainable goal is number 12, that is responsible consumption and production. The motto of this goal is to ensure the sustainable consumption and production rate. So is the goal can be achieved by 2020. So this goal actually targets topics like reducing food wastage, cooperative society, sustainability practice, and educating people on the impact of their lifestyle choices. And these also includes recycled paper, glass, plastic, whatever that may be want to use a reusable thing, we can recycle that thing. So this is all about a sustainable consumption. That means we are not unnecessarily consuming many things, but whatever it is necessary, we are consuming again and again. So this is goal number 12, and our livelihoods also changes and in the current practices, because if you are reusing something, then it is all sustainable things, and by a long practices we can save so many things by reusing this glass, paper, and plastic, all this. So our planet is also running out of resources. Due to this, we are do not waste our resources and to reuse the resources. And the global population reached 9.8 billion by 2050. The projected population increases day by day. So in 2050, it increases up to 9.5 billion. So there is lots of requirements of the consumption and production processes necessary. So in order to sustain the lifestyle and the quality of life, we have must use our resources wisely. So sustainable consumption is the key success for the not depleting resources unnecessarily. So we have to focus on the thing. We also change our mindset for the sustainable resources or consumption of the sustainable resources. So all the three goals are interrelated, where the energy supplies, the food practices, water availability, all the things are related to this thing. And the global crises are also due to this excess use of the resources. So in order to recover that thing, or in order to sustain, we have to use our our mindset in the form of recycle, 3R, that is recycle, reuse, and replenish. So actually what happens when you are set our mind that we have to reuse these things, so unnecessary consumption also reduces. For example, that fossil fuels that are non-renewable resources. If you are not using resources wisely, then it also do not replenish itself, and one day it will be finished. So our future generation are not able to get these things uh, at that time. So we have to use it in sustainably. So we are seeing the promising changes in industry also going on, including sustainability and the word sustainability. The we organization or industry, they are also moving towards sustainability by resource management and consumption and production management. Another thing is food wastage. Food wastage is another sign of this consumption. Unnecessarily do not waste food, and taking less food, and whenever it will finish, you can take more food according to your demand, according to your hunger. So food wastage also reduces, and this also take a small step towards sustainability. So why do we to change the practice of the consume? That means the consumption practice would need to be changed in a sustainable way because both economic and social progress depend on it. So since last century, it would be accompanied by the environmental degradation is increasing day by day. So in order to balance the environmental degradation, climate change, we have to wisely use our product. Our consumption is also limit within the limit, so that we can control our climate change, control our pollutions, all the things, and without compromising the development. So development is on its way. So it is wisely to use your consumption or widely use your resources wisely. So a successful resources utilization depends on the country's economy, country's responsibility, and the law enforcement of the country as well as the people who are living in the country. So overall, whole country or whole peoples are responsible for the consumption, because if the peoples are not aware about the sustainable development and the consumption practice, how they can use wisely consumption of the resources. So awareness also this will be given to the people. These things you can do at your own level, and that are need to change something. That means all practices to implement within you first. So every people think like that, then whole country will be changes, the practice will be changes. So this is the individual lifestyle who can that can be managed by themselves and make a contribution toward the sustainable development goals and sustainable development. So there are some the different business also, they have interested in the sustainable consumption and practices like recycling of plastic waste, glass, etc. Okay, new development or new creating new job opportunity towards this field, so it can be improve the environment or clear the pollutant as well as it will also save the resources and creating the job, all the things. So this is a new field that can be could be adopted by the total country or a total universe, so that the resources are can be intact for the utilization of future generation. Here the consumption that consumes, that are the consumer, and the production that produced are by the industries. So the buyer, in terms of buyer and seller or consumption or production, both are interlinked in terms of food, in terms of any materials, in terms of any things, stationary things. So all these things are interrelated. So we have to wisely purchase, we have to wisely use, we have to wisely waste. So this is the main motto, that is utilization of these resources, utilization and consumption of the resources wisely and sustainably. So this is all about responsible consumption and production, that is SDG 12. So in order to understand better, let's watch a small video on this.
Everyone deserves to live in a world where we produce just enough of what we need and reuse the stuff that we don't, so that our streets are kept clean and our green spaces stay green. There are ways for us to cut down on consumption, the stuff that we use, in order to cut down on production, the stuff that we make. For example, if people take the bus to work instead of everyone driving their cars, that will reduce the need to produce more vehicles and use more gas. If we recycle the plastic packaging that our food comes in and use it to make new things, like clothes or art, that stops plastics from being dumped in the sea, where it can make life difficult for sea life. But demand for things is rising. With more and more people living on Earth, we're producing more cars and more gas than ever before, and more plastic packaging, which has to go somewhere, whether that's in the ocean or landfills, which leak dangerous liquids into the water system. But good people everywhere are working hard to help us cut down on the things that we make, the things we use, and the things we throw away. Students are taking part in recycling projects, changing the way they think about waste by reusing it to create new things. Grown-ups are swapping diesel and gas-powered cars for more eco-friendly electric vehicles, which are much better for the environment. And others are helping put a stop to food waste by collecting leftover foods from hotels and restaurants and giving it to people who need it most. When everyone has enough of what they need and not too much of what they don't, our world will be a cleaner, fairer place.
So next sustainable development goal, that is goal number 13, climate action. This is most important because climate change is now day by day increasing, and this is a global problem and challenges for everyone and affect not only humans but also all ecosystem, all living organisms, all wildlife, all are affected by this climate change. So the main motto of this goal SDG 13, that is take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. So it is very much necessary to combat the climate change and restore our climate, reduce the pollutions and reduce the global warming. All climate change should be controlled by this human because we are responsible, or anthropogenic activities are responsible for this climate change. So our duty is to restore the climate or combat the climate change and its consequences, that is impact. Because climate change is a global challenges that affects everyone everywhere, or that is irrespective of countries, irrespective of places, irrespective of organisms, it is affected to everyone. So this goal has a asterisk as its reference as Paris Agreement in December 2015. This is a special requirement or special agreement has been done in the Paris in December 2015, especially due to the combat of the climate change. Oh, and there are so many previous things are we conferences are happened and regarding the climate change. We will discuss in a later class because climate change and development both are interlinked. So next class we will study details what are the different steps to be taken in order to combat the climate change, and the scientists who are mainly or environmentalists who are worries about climate and worries about our environment. They are making different promises, they are taking different actions in order to combat the climate change. So this December 2015 Paris Agreement is also one as the major agreement that has been read by the several nations jointly in order to combat the climate change, limiting global warming and not more than 2 degrees Celsius. Because if you are uncontrolledly use different resources and industrialization is going on, so the global warming also increases. So increase in temperature throughout the globe is called global warming, and we should not be increases in a rapidly. So we cannot stop it because development is also necessary. So in order development, industrialization is necessary, but we can control it. And in Paris Agreement, they signed the agreement that it should not be increased 2 degrees Celsius per year. Let's say educate young people to climate change and put them on a sustainable pathway. Everyone awareness, getting awareness is the most important thing in order to take action and combat the climate change. After what happened, agriculture in the country is very consumed by these impacts and issues by the common climate change. Climate change that can happen, they are very much worried about it in the country. Okay, what happened? One day it will be okay. This is the mindset of the previous people, but nowadays it is much rising concerns, and we have to stop this climate change by actions. So climate change also caused mainly due to human activity, not by the natural activity. So by rising the greenhouse gases, that is carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbon, all the greenhouse gases are emitted by the industries and by the anthropogenic activity or human activity. So climate change is happen. Main consequences of climate change is global warming, sea level rising, weather changing. All the things are happens due to that. Uh, our earth suffers more, and humans and all wildlife and all the environment, all are suffering. So because of the last 10 or 20 years, the climate change is occurs rapidly. So we have to control it. So we have to just control the faster changing to a slower little bit by taking different patterns or taking different actions. If it is unchecked, if you are not check the climate change, and what happened? 1.5 degree above the industrial level, all every year it will rises the temperatures. So one day all polar ice will melt and sea level will rises. So we have to stop it. So our next target to 2030 is to control the climate change less than 1.5 degree centigrade per year. So this is very much necessary. So if we are not controlling the climate change, then it will be very much drastic condition to be happen in future. So we have to stop this climate change, and or it is very urgent. And transforming, and that is going beyond more plants and formation is crucial, because this is not only a goal, single goal. It is the common effect and the main effect to be taken by the all nations, irrespective of all these country and races. So this climate change is very much crucial part to sustain in future. So immediate measures also taken by these different countries, and its consequences will be seen. So nowadays, see, earthquake, tsunami, the sea level rising, tornado, all are things are happening, floods, droughts. These are common things, and this is the main reason due to the climate change. So we have to act, because we do not be as just a sightseeing or observer. We have to act it. In case of we do not act it, then the climate change is take its toll, and its impact is very severe. So we have to, it's time to act, time to take action against this climate change, and this crisis is should be stopped and should be discontinued the climate change, because our goal level 17, they have taken several decisions in order to combat the climate change. He also disturbing the natural economics and affecting all the livelihood. Obviously, climate change is affecting whole people's economy, all the things. If not we are not taking any action, then what will happen? Climate change will cause global temperature increase greater than 3 degrees centigrade. Then what happens? It's a heavy threat to animals and plants, because our earth having certain limitation to combat this climate change. But when it is exceeds the limit, it cannot be further. So it can be take its toll. So in order to solve the problem, or in order to address the climate change, we have firstly raise the ambition to all level. That means all countries, all people should have an ambition or a vision to control the climate change. So some of the countries have already working on that, and most have to, the other countries have to need to take action on this. So like different sectors like transportation, food, agriculture, forestry, all these systems we cannot minimize, or we cannot stop this its production and consumption, and regarding this development. So we have to control this, that is rising level, that is more than 2 degree to 1.5 degree. It will be taken by the actions. So for this also, lot of finance is needed in order to take necessary actions regarding climate change. So businesses, investors, governments, legislations, all are also included in this thing, and they come forward to fund some agencies and fund to take combat the climate change. So this is investing in climate change is not taken by the country, but globally, or United Nations fund that also give you providing fund to develop country or develop country in order to check this climate change. So there is a lots of work to be going on, and we have to complete this, and this is very much necessary in order to change as a sustainable way, in order to change our future in a sustainable way. So in this case, you also help by your action. You can do some, teach some individual, you can spreading the awareness, all these things you can do at your own level, and whatever things maybe you will do that can be contribute to the combat the climate change. So climate change is very much necessary things, and let us also study details of climate change. So let's see a small video that can be explain what is climate change and climate action.
We all deserve to live in a world where flora and fauna of every shape and hue are given the conditions to survive and thrive. It's possible to reverse the effects of climate change, which threaten all life on Earth. And we all have a role to play in helping the UN achieve this goal by 2030. Our world is a beautiful place. It is home to countless life forms, from the mammals of Antarctica and the fish of the Gold Coast Coral Reef to us in our stunning cities. But it can be a harsh environment too. Life on Earth has always been at the mercy of the elements. Natural disasters like floods can wash away whole ecosystems. Forest fires lay waste swaths of land, Hurricanes and earthquakes level settlements and make living incredibly precarious. These natural processes have created and shaped the land for millennia. But studies show that rising temperatures in Earth's atmosphere are making natural disasters like these much more frequent and more severe. Global warming is a man-made modern phenomenon. It began with the Industrial Revolution. New machines automated tasks and helped business owners make lots of money. But because they relied on the burning of fossil fuels to function, factories dotted throughout the land churned out clouds of poisonous gases and changed the delicate balance of Earth's atmosphere. Since then, climate change has been exacerbated by a growing global population. Global warming is now at crisis levels. In China, the air can be so toxic that sometimes citizens wear face masks. And in the Arctic, the ice caps are melting, making it impossible for wildlife to survive. But eco-heroes everywhere are taking action against climate change. In the US, car manufacturer General Motors is working in partnership with the government to tackle climate change. It was one of the first signatories of the American Business Act on Climate Pledge and is investing heavily in electrification, thereby helping to cut down on greenhouse gas emissions. Architects around the world are creating eco-friendly houses and reducing their carbon footprint by replacing harmful concrete with natural materials like mud bricks and recycled shipping containers. And in Vancouver, school children are working with the city's urban forestry program to offset the effects of deforestation by planting lots of new trees in their neighborhoods, which consume dangerous carbon dioxide and produce healthy oxygen. Together, we can create a safe, resilient, and sustainable future for everyone.
Okay, next sustainable development goal is goal number 14, that describes about life below water. So there are life exists below water and above water. So in this sustainable development goal number 14, we are dealing with the life below water. And the motto of this is conserve and sustainability use of the ocean, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. So these are also water resources that is available in our Earth planet. So there are many organisms or many animals that living below the water. So we human, our duty is to conserve and use these resources, the water resources, that is ocean, seas, and marine resources, for our sustainable development. We use wisely. So careful management of these essential global resources is a key feature of sustainable future. So sustainability or sustainable future, that is most important. So we are using the all resources wisely and essentially when it is needed or necessarily. So the world's oceans are the overfished, underprotected, and stressed from the climate change and pollution. Obviously, due to the pollution, climate change, or demand of the food, we are overfishing and we are depleting the resources. We are polluting the resources, sea, and all these things. So there will be a threat to the world, life that below water. So the threat to the aquatic organisms that are living in the oceans and water. So the target for this goal is to include research and learning to find out the more about the strength of the oceans, so better to save them. In order to provide a better livelihood or better saving for the organism below water, we have to do extra and more research on that. What are the life processes below it? How it can be freely aquatic organism can be live freely without polluting the bent of the oceans. So this will be, we need a lot of research on that. So to avoid the plastic waste and ocean safe and clean. Mainly ocean is focus and life under the ocean is mainly focus on this number goal. So we are polluting our ocean due to the plastic bags and bottles. They are a major pollutant. They are deposited in the bed of the ocean and that causes various harm to the aquatic organism or pleasant life below this water. So this is all about conversing the sustainability using of ocean and seas in terms of our utilization of the resources wisely. And healthy ocean and seas are essential for the existence of life, because life starts from the water and seas. Nowadays, these seas are overused. That means we are using for our own sake. We are overused the resources. So ocean is intrinsic to our life path. That means very much necessary, because water cycle is play important role, and this is the ocean has the playing the major role in to convert the water into water vapor, and then it will get precipitated. So the 75% of the earth that is covered with the water, and this water is essential for our earth. So we have to use that water very wisely, and we have to save the water. And this water also present in atmosphere by the different water vapor or in water cycle that can be get precipitated. So our earth is mainly life exists by this water, and sea play a major role for the water cycle and water. So the seas are provide also natural resources, not along the water. It also provides resources like food, medicine, biofuel, and other products. And for this, with help of this thing, some countries and some humans that are growing and developing. So we have to also think about this and utilize the resource wisely. So another important person of the ocean, important task of the ocean, it is a global or greatest carbon sink. The ocean absorbs carbon dioxide that we are releases from the atmosphere. The major absorption of CO2 gases is take place in the ocean. So it's the major carbon sink of the earth. So we have to also safeguard the oceans in terms of pollution and over wastage. So next goal is goal SDG 15, that is life on land. So like life below water, life on land, that consisting all the living organisms, all the plants, animals that are staying above the earth surface. So the main motto of this is protect, restore, and remote sustainable use and terrestrial ecosystem. So we are not utilizing the only natural resources. We are also utilizing the live resources, that is plant, animals that are present above the earth, apart from the human. So humans are utilized all other animals and plants and biodiversity ecosystem for their own sake. So our also duty is to protect and restore the ecosystem and restore the sustainability of the biodiversity and promote this sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystem. That means we are whenever it is necessary, we are unnecessary. We are use the terrestrial ecosystem in our own sake, but we are you have to use that is sustainable way. So sustainability manage different forest, combat disaster desertification, hurt and remove land degradation, hurt biodiversity loss. That is the main motto or main our should be action is that management of forest. Afforestation is should be afforestation. The last number of forests should be grown, deforestation should be stopped, and desertification should be combated. But in order to save this water or in order to save the land, we are do as much we can do. So that also reduces the biodiversity loss. So this is our main aim to reduce biodiversity loss, reduce land degradation, reduce this desertification, increase afforestation, manage forest, save wildlife, making sanctuaries, wildlife sanctuaries, bioreserves, all these things. So these are all comes under this sustainable goal development 15. So these goal targets halting the threats to the living ecosystem and biodiversity of land, because the variety of plants and animals that are very much important in the land in order to survive or in order to balance the ecosystem of Earth. Because food chain and food web is an important part and that are interlinked with each other. If the in food chain or food web, if the one element or one organism get breaks, then whole ecosystem could be disturbed, and whole ecosystem can be imbalanced. And as the ecosystem is imbalanced, it can be become a land degradation and desertification occurs. So in order to save that, we have to save the biodiversity of the or each and every animals and plants that are living on a for a particular terrestrial land. So plant a tree helps to protect the environment. So this is the theme, that is plant a tree. If you are in your level, you can plant a tree to save the environment. Every year or on a birthday, you have to please to take one tree, adopt one tree. That also changes very much in our save the ecosystem very much. So ecosystem are the vital and sustainable thing that should be protected for the better and quality life of the humans in the earth. So this world is now facing different crises related to this climate and pollution, biodiversity loss, all are interrelated. So this is we have to stop the utilization of these resources unnecessarily, and we have to protect this thing. So agricultural practices is also we have to forced to do deforestation, and if the increasing populations are forced to making urbanizations by cutting forestry, so this should be stopped and should be sustainable way. We have to use as like in above we have already discussed the sustainable cities. That means we are living in the world in both environment as well as our development. So we are giving importance to both. So global and regional effects should be done, because not it is not the duty of only the nation. It is the duty of whole people that living on the land. So it is very much necessary. So we have to take care of the planet Earth, to take care of the living organisms, living things that present on the Earth, and that is mostly forest. So now only 31% forest will be remaining in the Earth. So it should be increased to 31% to 50, 60%. So that may be a good for our ecosystem and climate. So forestation is the main important person that can be helped to the manage the life on the land, because 75% of the earth is covered by the water, and remaining 30% that is uh, land. But the land area, not the all land should be habitable, or not the all area should be equally treated and equally biodiversified. But whenever the area are having greater biodiversified or having more importance, we should protect this area. We have to make some laws. We have to make some arrangement or management that can be protect the life in terms of plants and wild animals or the forest. So we have to protect this. So actually, the forest loss or deforestation, that is a major threat. So there are the government make different plans to making forestation, making protect the forest, the local community forest camp, all this awareness of the local people, what is the importance of forest, all these things, and also very much lots of funds is also required to do the afforestation or in a sustainable way. So there are different agencies they can contribute to making the forest and in order to protect the environment. So recently, UN report said that the biodiversity loss is the greater threat along with the forest loss. So it is also a major concern to reduce the hunting and poaching of the animals, wild animals. So this is very much necessary to control this life on land, and this also severely affected. If we are not controlling it, it is severely affected to our living standard, our health, because if we are cutting the tree, then it can we cannot convert CO2 to CO, and it cannot be naturally clean the air. So this is very much necessary for environment, not only our environment, it is for health, because global warming, climate change, air pollution, all are interrelated, and that are depending on this forest and the wildlife that are present in earth. So it is very much necessary to come take care and protect in different way, that is forest and other lives. So we can do at our own level, that we can use our different resources in order to protect that, and we should adopt a tree in every year or every month. Whatever you can, you just grow a tree or plant a tree. This is the catching we can do, and we should not go for hunting and poaching, and should protect the wildlife. That can also be happen. And ecotourism, eco-forest, all these things should be very much growing nowadays in terms, and that is mainly uh, for this safeguard of the forest and wildlife in the land. So management is also very much responsible, not management, along with the all individual of the nation. Our duty is to save the life, mainly the plants and the animals, or the, other than the humans, are very much necessary in order to make a sustainable environment, in order to make a sustainable future. So for better understand, let's see one small video on this.